be doing a Future of the World video. So let's get into it. With the war in Russia, Ukraine, starting to get a bit worrisome for Ukraine.
So here's this 747, which seems kind of like a more pencil.
As Russia has already moved through an industry
must have really shocking
a lot.
That's so weird how the 747 bounces like that. Really satisfying. I think I'm used to scenes of wreckage, but this one is just awful. Getting all the parts wet and filthy in that point is crazy. Okay, so something I didn't like was this rain effect. If you're gonna fake the rain, then be subtle with it. Not just put long
Russians already a lot.
But here's your 9 out of 10.
A good bit of
hilarious. Apart from the quality, which could have just been better. Yeah, here's the final thing I'm gonna rate.
And with this being what Russia has, and now this being what the Ukrainians have, it seems like Russia's winning. I want them taking this part of Ukraine and cutting off Ukraine's access from the Black Sea. Russia starts to carve up Ukraine. As it starts to happen, and the Ukrainians are pushed out of Russia, and Russia starts to do this. Russia will not start to do this, but starts to take Ukraine and have the Ukrainians and keep being rough here. Encircling the area and taking Kyiv. Kyiv is taken, and Ukraine is done. But with Belarus trying to get a bit of land instead of just aiding Russia. Belarus and Russia just take out on the treaty being this. How? Because this was the old Ukrainian border, and Russia had Crimea, and now Russia has this, all of this Ukraine. Belarus gets this part, and this is going to become a puppet. So let me get that puppet color. This is the Russians now. They have this part of Ukraine, this part of Ukraine, a puppet state of Ukraine, and Belarus has this part of Ukraine. And with the Russians, also have Kaliningrad. And with them being done for the right now. Done for now. I'll just color this puppet. Gray. Yeah, the Russo puppet is gray now. Okay. So, I'll put this over here. And then we have the formation of the North American Union between the U.S. and Canada. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, North American Union just dropped. So, I'll get rid of this border. Boom, boom. Let's get rid of that. And the U.S. now being asking Denmark to buy green in for $80 for as much as they want. So they say 200 trillion. So the U.S. accepts, and Greenland is now part of the U.S. Or should I say the North American Union? And then making a war with the Mexican areas. And asking why? We already have Canada. They just say we need North America. Or most of it at least. Most of the big areas. And I think they're really taking the ball and making encouragement for the Texans. And they make a naval landing in the Yucatan Peninsula. And Mexico starts falling rapidly. And with Mexico having to surrender as they already lost their capital, the North American Union now officially has most of North America. And I think may actually be the biggest nation on Earth, maybe second. I think it's second. US third place and Canada's second place. And Mexico's this may actually be bigger than the nation of Russia and its new puppet. It was this all except for America they don't accept this and this. So that's a bit better. Okay, so this area may be bigger than this area. Okay, time for the formation of Eastern Africa. All of this area united in one nation. It's for their own good. They need this to counterattack the American Union away from the African areas. So the formation of the Eastern African Union forming between Ethiopia, Somalia, and I think, I don't know. I'm not good with African nations, and I know this one is at this point, China officially going to war with, well, Taiwan. That's the greatest mistake you can ever make, China. Because the North American Union joins the side of Taiwan, and it doesn't have $1 billion. It may not have $1 billion, but it does have a lot of military now. It maybe even could have more than 2. Activating Article 5. All in NATO joins the war. As if one country goes to war, all countries go to war. Okay. So, China is screwed over. Sweden, also joined NATO. If they already didn't. Because they went out with this, now kind of world war. Ow! I said. Finland. You need this. Ah. Ow! I said. China is for real screwed. I don't care what you said. China is screwed. Because, look at all that. Practically all of North America. Most of Europe, actually. That's practically 2 continents versus a singular nation. And with mass pumping into Taiwan beginning, most things are over the North American Union as this has to go boom. Taiwan is able to make an encouragement onto the Chinese coast area. And with all this beginning, the Americans make their own encouragement over here. Oh yeah, North Korea joined the war. So South Korea joined the war. North Korea begins its incursion to the south, but Japan pumps money and troops into the south. South be able to encourage back and take all of North Korea, starting an encouragement into China. With China noticing that, not noticing yet that, they're screwed. They still think they can fight this. They put up an entire military group here. All their troops in this area. Somehow, straight at that area, but not Tibet. But I'd say Tibet declared independence, and China is screwed over. With China noticing, they're screwed over, they decide to make one final encouragement. All the troops, they make a giant encouragement. With China officially dying, the treaty is this. Ow! This is what's left of China. This is Tibet. This is Taiwan. This is Manchuria. And all this area is South Korea. Ow! So everything just happened nice. Wait. Yeah, you. So, let me just get rid of all this. So here's the borders. So I'd say the new Chinese Civil War just dropped. So let's look back. Let's look at an area called Siberia. Siberia on the offensive as Russia needs to be defended. Defense. With mass pumping into Siberia. Yeah, by the way, Kazakhstan doesn't join the war, but it's just saying it will, but I will not let Kazakhstan join the war. Okay, so let me so with this. But with Ukraine also declaring independence as Siberia does, hoping to get their own freedom. Siberians are sick of them not pumping too much money into their area. So all of Siberia declaring independence, but not Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan not. So, that makes that, and with all Siberians declaring their march, and the Ukrainians just flip flop. Boom. 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 So with all most of being lost, as the NATO the fund of Siberia and Ukraine begins as they are sick of Russia. And with Ukraine starting to get all their own lands back, in fact, getting all of it back, as Russia's not worried about this. Russia's worried about this. A tiny counter-offensive unit taking out this area and still connecting. And with Siberia starting to come as Ukraine knows that they could just go all out. And with Ukraine getting surprisingly close to Moscow, but roughly being right there. And with them not getting it yet, as all the land is taken, and Russia starting to fall, as the Siberians kick back the Russians, taking back their land, and at this point, Russia falls. Russia capitulates. So the treaty being this. Okay. the new Siberians, and this is the new Ukrainians. Russia falls. Not falls yet, but Russia practically dies. That's how severe this punishment is. This is Russia. Remember, that's Siberia. This is Ukraine. And this is China. This is Taiwan. This is Tibet. And this is Manchuria. And this is now the new nation of Korea. Okay. So let us look back at Africa. Okay, so this card, other known as the Central African Republic, asking for other nations to unite with them. And with South Sudan, Cameroon, but not the Eastern Africans. This not being Central Africa. Most of these ones. These nations actually they don't wanna be taken. With Nigeria accepting the Great New African Union dropped, then saying that they'll be better together. Western Africa not doing it, but aid being supported as Morocco tries to officially claim the territories. Boom. Western African kicks out, and Morocco gets out, and this happens. Ow! But Chad stays. Sudan stays. The DRC stays. But yeah, this was the Congo. The Congo doesn't stay, but now the Great African Union. Yeah, that's what it's now called. Because they stated that they'll be better together. So they will be better together. They're actually having almost soon going to be 1 billion. Part of it, and just being the new African Union. Oh, I forgot to pause it. Well, pause. Well, the DRC is screwed. They're kind of the pimple of Africa now. So, war begins. And the DRC just surrenders. Because they know they cannot do it. So they just, surrender. Yeah, African Union now will have great borders. And the Great African Union just began. Madagascar joins. They tell South Africa to join, and they accept because they state that they're going to be better together. And if we don't, we're risking new colonization by nations like the North American Union. So we have to unite to not do this. So we're taking the DRC by force. And the new African Union just dropped, but I don't know if it may be bigger than the North American Union, but North American Union is definitely more advanced. There's some stuff that this union may take them by surprise. The new union. The old union. The Eastern African Union. That's the rest of Africa. To unite against them. By them, I mean the normal Africans. Except this area. Some convincing and persuading they unite. And Morocco, just losing a war against them, against these guys, does not want anything to do with those guys. So they unite with rivals. Okay, a rivalry just began. Try to keep it on. Stay on good terms. Okay. Terms. Will never, ever on each other's bad side. Try not to. So, I'm gonna refill this stuff back in because it got destroyed. And we're just gonna go to a different area of the map. That is not on good terms. So, this is what's left of Africa. Two super nations on peaceful terms. They still have a bit of a rivalry between who can get all of Africa first. So that's about it for today's video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll do another one. Let's try to get to 5 likes. See ya, guys. Peace.